In the heart of a grand empire, far from his home, lived a young man named Daniel. Taken from his land, Jerusalem, he found himself in the dazzling, yet unfamiliar city of Babylon. The king, Nebuchadnezzar, had a vision. He wanted the brightest and best young men from his captured lands to serve in his court. Daniel, along with his friends Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, was chosen. They were given new names: Belteshazzar, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were to be trained in the language and literature of Babylon, to eat the king's rich food and drink his fine wine. But Daniel made a promise to himself: he would not defile himself with the king's provisions. He knew that staying true to his faith, even in small things, was a choice he had to make every day. He approached the chief official with a brave request. "Please, test us for 10 days. Give us only vegetables to eat and water to drink. Then compare our appearance with the young men who eat the royal food." The official was hesitant, fearing the king's anger if the young men looked weak. But he saw the sincerity in Daniel's eyes and agreed. After 10 days, Daniel and his friends looked healthier and better nourished than all the others. So, they were allowed to continue their simple diet. Their first test of faith was passed, not with a roar, but with a quiet, firm resolve. Years went by. Daniel and his friends excelled in their studies. The king found them 10 times wiser than all the magicians and enchanters in his entire kingdom. Daniel's wisdom, a gift from his God, was becoming known. Then, one night, King Nebuchadnezzar had a terrifying dream. A dream that left him so troubled he couldn't sleep. He summoned all his wise men, the magicians, the enchanters, the sorcerers. "Tell me my dream, and then interpret it," he commanded. "If you don't, you will be torn limb from limb." The wise men were stunned. "No one on earth can do what the king asks," they protested. "Only the gods can, and they do not live among us." The king's fury was immense. He ordered the execution of all the wise men of Babylon, including Daniel and his friends. When the captain of the guard, Arioch, came for them, Daniel didn't panic. He asked calmly, "Why is the king's decree so harsh?" Arioch explained the situation. Daniel immediately went to the king and asked for time, promising he could interpret the dream. That night, Daniel went home and urged his friends to pray. They prayed to the God of heaven, asking for mercy, asking for the mystery to be revealed so they wouldn't perish with the rest. And in a vision that night, the secret was revealed to Daniel. He praised God, saying, "Praise be to the name of God forever and ever. Wisdom and power are his. He reveals deep and hidden things." The next morning, Daniel stood before the powerful king. He said, "No wise man, enchanter, or magician can explain this to you. But there is a God in heaven who reveals mysteries." Daniel then described the king's dream: a colossal statue with a head of gold, chest and arms of silver, belly and thighs of bronze, legs of iron, and feet of mixed iron and clay. Then, a rock, cut out by no human hand, struck the statue's feet and smashed it to pieces, becoming a great mountain that filled the whole earth. The king listened, his eyes wide with amazement. Daniel then gave the interpretation: "You, O king, are the head of gold. After you, another kingdom will rise, inferior to yours. Next, a third kingdom of bronze will rule. Then a fourth, strong as iron. Finally, it will be a divided kingdom, partly strong and partly brittle. And in the time of those kings," Daniel declared, "the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed." King Nebuchadnezzar fell on his face before Daniel. He acknowledged that Daniel's God was the God of gods and the Lord of kings. He promoted Daniel to a high position, making him ruler over the entire province of Babylon. But Daniel's journey was far from over. Power and favor can be fleeting. A new king, Darius, rose to power. He admired Daniel's exceptional qualities and planned to set him over the whole kingdom. This made the other administrators and high officials intensely jealous. They watched Daniel, looking for any fault, any reason to accuse him, but his life was blameless. They realized their only chance was to use Daniel's faith against him, so they devised a cunning plan. They went to King Darius and flattered him, "O king, live forever. We all agree that you should issue an edict. For the next 30 days, anyone who prays to any god or human being except to you, O king, shall be thrown into the lion's den." The king, pleased by their apparent loyalty and not seeing the trap, signed the decree into law. Daniel knew about the new law, but it didn't change his routine. 3 times a day, he went to his upstairs room where the windows opened toward Jerusalem. He got down on his knees and prayed, giving thanks to his God, just as he had always done. He did not hide, he did not waver. His faith was not a secret to be practiced in the dark. His enemies were watching. They found him praying and rushed to the king. Daniel, one of the exiles from Judah, pays no attention to you or your decree. He still prays 3 times a day. The king was deeply distressed. He had been tricked. He spent the rest of the day trying to find a way to save Daniel, but the law was unchangeable. As evening fell, Daniel was brought to the lion's den. The king said to him, with a heavy heart, "May your God, whom you serve so continually, rescue you." A stone was placed over the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own ring. The king spent a sleepless night, fasting and refusing any entertainment. At the first light of dawn, he hurried to the lion's den. His voice trembled as he called out, "Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God been able to rescue you from the lions?" A voice came from the darkness of the pit. It was Daniel. "May the king live forever. My God sent his angel, and he shut the mouths of the lions. They have not hurt me, because I was found innocent in his sight. Nor have I ever done any wrong before you, O king." The king was overjoyed. He ordered Daniel to be lifted out of the den. Not a scratch was found on him, because he had trusted in his God. The king then commanded that the men who had falsely accused Daniel be thrown into the den, along with their families. Before they reached the floor, the lions overpowered them. King Darius then sent a new decree to all the nations and peoples of every language in all the earth. "I issue a decree that in every part of my kingdom people must fear and reverence the God of Daniel, for he is the living God, and he endures forever. His kingdom will not be destroyed, his dominion will never end. He rescues and he saves. He performs signs and wonders in the heavens and on the earth." Daniel's story is a powerful reminder that true strength isn't about might or power, but about unwavering faith. In a world that constantly changes, in lands that are not our own, standing firm in what we believe can move mountains, silence lions, and reveal the power of a God who never fails. Thank you for watching. If this story inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that uplifts and empowers. We'll see you in the next video.